not that the last two courses or three courses have been kind of tame, but this one I think will really bring up a whole lot of different flavors, and I was really excited about this. A lot of people know I love duck. I try to integrate it into a lot of different menus because of the complexity and the flavors. So it's really kind of fun to do this particular dish because you start to think about brewing styles. So Allagash does a beer called Fluxus, which is in a state of change. It changes every year that they brew it. This particular one, they actually were able to get malt that was grown in Maine where the brewery is, and actually was able to use that malt in this beer where they actually did a double mash. So they add the water to the cracked grain, mashed it, got all the sugars converted from starch, and then drained that, and then put that wort back into a clean mash tun with fresh grain. That also becomes a 10.3% beer, kind of a big giant stout. Then when it goes into the whirlpool, they actually add cocoa nibs. Cocoa, chocolate, stout. Start thinking about flavors and where you can take this beer as far as directions. So we wanted to kind of go big, kind of go meaty, kind of go hearty, but yet in a different kind of context. So we took duck breast, and I'm good friends with Matt Brindleson at Firestone Walker, and he does a union barrel program where he actually ferments the beer in heavy toast American oak barrels. So actually I got one of these barrels and took it apart for dinner to make candlesticks, holders if you will, and I saved all the shavings, and I've been loving just to cook with this, and so I smoked the duck breast in these shavings. We seared them off to get a really nice medium rare. Now we put this over some kind of a wheat berry farro, otherwise known as kind of spelt, kind of an Indian, or sorry, an Italian grain. And we mix this with Allagash Double, which has that nice caramel complexity to it. And then we added in kind of a compote where we took yellow raisins with cardamom, grapefruit, and a little bit of Earl Grey tea to kind of get a little bit of astringency. So the texture of that farro with this richness of this duck, and then to really complement it and bring it a whole nother direction, kind of, because if you think about a stout, you know, you can kind of get some astringency from the roasting process, that kind of coffee-ish undertones. To me, it can also kind of go earthy, and I really wanted to bring out that earthiness by this tart that we did, which is basically puff pastry with duck legs that have been kind of ground up and pureed with hilicoche, which is a corn schmut, otherwise known as, on the corn, there are certain times you'll open it up and you'll see like these little nuggets of kind of black fungus that grows. It's kind of a random thing, has a real earthiness. We also mixed in some chanterelle mushrooms into that and kind of made this mousse that is also going to be really earthy and rich and just yummy. And all those flavors with this beer as it kind of dances on your tongue with the chocolate, and then the sauce that kind of dribbled over the top is basically a 5-day process to make a duck stock into a duck demi. So this is where you start to see these really cool things, and this is where also when I'm able to work with Galen, who does a lot of stuff that's farm to table. And, you know, to think about the beer that's also kind of the grain to the brewery, you know, so I look at farm to table and, you know, beer to glass kind of an idea, you know, the breweries and what they're doing nowadays. I really like this whole concept of a dish. Plus, you know, with fall coming around and, you know, I know it was raining just, you know, yesterday, so I really like the whole concept of what would happen with a big stout like this. And then flavors and how you can play with it, as well as what we've already tried on our palates. Because again, this is what's fun for me, is it's not just one course, it's everything together. And it's helping to understand these different flavors and how they work on your palate. So without further ado, enjoy.